Hey, thank you, Rahul, for the introduction, and thank you, everybody, for the hopping on the line and spending some time with us today. I just want to make sure, Scott, can you hear me all right? I see you're under the ocean, so
Yes, I can hear you from my secret underwater lair. Volume is good.
you're not. I'm in our boring Sydney office, but it's actually nice to be in an office because I'm sure we're all tired of working from home here. So for everybody on the line, my name is Blake Bennett. Before we get started, I just want to make clear that this picture of this awesome surfer is definitely not me. I moved from Alteryx HQ in California to Sydney, Australia 2 years ago, thinking my surfing would improve. I think if anything, it's probably gotten a bit worse. Scott, have you been able to make it out into the water in New Zealand since the lockdown has eased over there?
Yeah, I've been out a couple of times. I do a bit of wind footing, so I managed to get out on the harbour. Yeah, certainly not in swell like that, but yeah, no, it's been good. It's a little bit chilly, but yes, it's better than being stuck inside.
Yeah, winter has come upon us, so it is a bit chilly. Yeah, well, I'm certainly keen to get back over to New Zealand once the borders open up and try my surfing there. Maybe I'll be a little better. So great, let's get into it, Scott. I think when we started planning this session a few weeks ago, the idea was that we work with all types of businesses and customers over there in New Zealand, and we want to share what we're seeing in terms of the massive disruption our customers are going through in the post-COVID world, specifically within finance, and how they're dealing with those disruptions, especially using self-service technologies to increase the speed, automation, and enable agile analytics right now. So do you want to start by giving an introduction, Scott, of Datagems and how you help customers over there in New Zealand? Hey, Scott, I think you're on mute if you want to, or underwater.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, hey, thanks for the intro, Blake. Yeah, we're an analytics consultancy, and firmly believe in using analytics to support business making decisions or business decisions. And one of what I've found, I've been an analyst for over 20 years, is you got to have good tools, and for me, Alteryx is a really great tool to help businesses really move forward and become data driven. And it just it's so easy to use, and it's just really transformative, and just supercharges your productivity. So yeah, so we're specialists in Alteryx, and so pretty passionate about the tool and the capability it gives you.
Great, thanks. And I'm Blake Bennett. Once again, I'm dialing in from Alteryx Sydney. I manage our customers in New Zealand. We're, for those who don't know Alteryx, we're a public company. We have global customers in over 90 countries, and we're on the fast track to becoming a $1 billion analytics company, really with the mission of enabling a business-friendly solution that unifies analytics, data science, and process automation all in a single intuitive workflow, with the goal of helping solve digital transformation challenges faster. And you can see this being used in customers of just about every industry and department, retail, manufacturing, consulting, finance. And what we're seeing is this is such a time of rapid change for our customers that across the board, businesses are dealing with reshuffling. And it's quickly becoming apparent that the legacy solutions like spreadsheets that they rely on just aren't meeting the needs and aren't meeting the speed of what's happening in the world. So there's a major need in the market of Alteryx. And that's really the goal today, is to share some of those challenges that customers are seeing, to share why self-service analytics and Alteryx specifically is helping them get through that disruption and solve things faster. Then we'll flip to you, Scott. I think you have a demo lined up with some a specific finance use case, and then we'll share how customers can get started with Alteryx. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes, that sounds great, Blake.
Awesome. So I want to move past all of the kind of marketing type slides and spend maximum time in the technology, but just to set the context of challenges that we've been seeing and sum everything up, and why Alteryx is important here, is that we've become aware that quickly we're having a lot more remote employees and remote offices. We interviewed finance professionals in a recent study and found that 74% of CFOs now plan to have a portion of their staff permanently working from home. And the challenge this presents is that you're not, as an analyst or a finance team, able to go over to the technical resource for help and some quick adjustments to data and to help you along with your reports. It's going to slow things down, and this is really revealing the need for analysts to become self-sufficient in their own problem solving and having to upskill to solve their own data problems, solve their own reporting and analysis problems without walking over to the other side of the office. You now have to fill out a ticket and sit idly and wait for tech help or wait for some kind of response. It's just not going to meet the speed and the deadline for what you need to get done as an analyst. So it really highlights that need for self-sufficiency and a self-service type of tool set. Next is the unfortunate reality, and I think you mentioned that, you know, we have lower headcount now. Unfortunately, people have had to slim down staff in many cases. And that means that there's going to be the same amount of responsibility falling on a smaller workforce. So the question is, how do we maintain output with fewer resources? You might have inherited the process that another analyst had to work on, and now you're having to go back and decode what their steps were for the report or analysis. And that can just be a major challenge. So how do we maintain that output? How do we even increase output and increase efficiency with a smaller workforce? Finally, like I mentioned, it's very apparent now that brittle spreadsheets and cobbled together solutions of the past, they're just not powerful enough to meet the needs of today's teams. There is a major gap. There's 54 million analysts worldwide, and they spend over 60% of their time just in spreadsheets and Excel preparing data. And you know, the more time you spend in Excel doing things by hand, the more opportunity there is for that manual mess ups and fat fingering keys and things like that. And that can really impact the bottom line when you add everything up at the end of the day. I'm sure you've probably seen this this Excel error and things like that that can stop your heart. So I know that's frustrating for everyone. So let's get past that, right? Finally, I think probably one of the biggest challenges is that this has really paused innovation. It's paused the ability to for analysts to spend time upskilling and working into more advanced analytic modeling and things to optimize the business, you know, more advanced forecasting, optimizations and things like that. So these are all really key challenges that are going to impact financial teams in a big way. And let's talk about how you can win your day back and switch the tables, shift the paradigm on this and reverse the situation. Well, the first step is going to be reducing the grunt work, taking all of the manual steps in your day of creating reports and analysis, which primarily might be spreadsheet driven. How can we take all those tedious tasks and automate them, speed them up, create rapid solutions to those so we can really change the focus from that basic descriptive view of things and actually start to focus on, you know, automated solutions and analysis. Let's focus on evolving our staff and launching them into advanced analytics, gaining new proficiencies in working on upskilling the workforce. You don't have to be a coder or have a PhD anymore to build sophisticated models and get predictive looking insights into your data. So that's really the goal here. And when that comes together in a single technology, what you have is, you know, you might be someone that spends time in spreadsheets and heaps of spreadsheets to get to a report or analysis. Maybe you have some tables or databases. It could be any number of things, even Google Sheets, ERPs, things in the cloud, Salesforce, even things on the web that you might be trying to connect to, or outputs of RPA processes. If I'm an analyst, I want to be able to take the output, all of these raw data sources, and be able to bring them together as rapid as possible so I can start profiling and making sense of things on the way to creating a report and analysis. So everything you might be doing in Excel, the VLOOKUPs, the pivot tables, the deduplication, the filtering, the calculations, let's lay those out in a visual workflow and let's make those something that's repeatable and automated across any number of data sources, no matter what the format or what the shape is. I want to speed that process up with the goal of spending more time doing analysis and financial analysis and planning and forecasting. Now, you don't have to be a Python or an R coder anymore, like I mentioned, to do advanced analysis. Let's move from descriptive looking insights into prescriptive and predictive even. And at the end of the day, as an analyst, I want to be able to share that output and those insights with managers. How do I do that? You know, whether you work with reports in Excel or PDF or PowerPoint, maybe I want to kick off 100 emails with personalized reports to different managers. How can I automate that and speed that up? How can I power my dashboards like Tableau or Power BI with more dynamic visualizations? How can I speed them up? Or maybe I just want to put data back into a database. Well, you know, the answer to all those questions, Scott, is the Alteryx Designer. It's a single visual interface that's end-to-end, takes you from raw data into reports and insights in a fraction of the time. It's easy to use. It's designed for the business analyst. It's something that's repeatable, so you can run it over and over and schedule these processes. Finally, it's shareable. You can save your workflows. You can share them with tax, accounting, FP&A. You can even share them with other departments like operations and marketing. And finally, it allows access to advanced analytics without being a very technical coder. So I'll stop there. Scott, I know you have a great demo to present with some financial data. So I'll flip it over to you if that sounds like a good plan now.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the introduction, Blake. And yep, I've got a quick demo here just to show you some of the tools that I think you would encounter in your day that are really going to help speed up and 10x your productivity, or like one of the favorite sayings of sales guys is 10xing your output. So yeah, so that's coming up.
We do say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip it.
All right. Right, so let's get into it. Now this is Alteryx Designer, and this here is a canvas where you build your workflow, and these are all of the tools, and they're grouped by similar tool or family, for want of a better word. And today what I'm going to do is give you a demo of some commonly used tools that can really turbocharge your day and get you moving away from using Excel and having all those issues that you get with Excel around file size, computer not being able to deal with it, connectivity to lots of different data sources. So let's just get into it, shall we? So, commonly you start by, you receive a bunch of files and you've got to make some sense of them. So for this example that I've prepared, we've got a store. We sell office supplies. We've got 10 stores on Upper North Island, and I get all my files sent to me by the store managers once a year because they can't, for whatever reason, I can't get them myself. And we can see we've got 10 stores here. Now, they're all exactly the same. And we can see here we get the file path, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wildcard that, and what it'll do is it'll read in every single file. I'm going to add a couple more steps before I process this. Now, in that store file, we only have store IDs. We don't have a store name, so which is a little bit frustrating because I don't know all the store IDs, but I do know their names. So we're going to go and grab a file that has all the store names in it. So again, we go to File, select File, and just navigate up one. You can see we've got the store location. I'm going to pick this XLS, and in here we've got store names, lat longs, etc. And I don't actually need any of the other information. I just need the store name. So we can go and grab a prep tool and deselect the columns we're not interested in. So don't care about the address, the lat long. I just care about the store name. And I join it with the join tool, which I previously dragged down. So in here, it'll automatically detect, once I select store ID, it'll detect the store ID in the next data source. And I can go down here and remove it from the join tool so that I don't get it in the output. Do that here. And we've now added a store name to every sales row. Now, I don't have any cost information, right? So again, had to go to procurement, and they provide me with a file with all the prices, but again, it's incomplete. So for example, let's just go and navigate to it, and we'll use the file server. We can connect to databases, we can connect to a whole bunch of different stuff, but for this, I'm just going to focus on Excel, CSVs, and Google Sheets. So see here, we've got our price list. It's in a CSV. We can see got the supplier, product name, category, etc., unit price. And I don't know what currency that's in. Now, we don't buy hardly anything locally in my examples, so I can only assume this is the buy currency. And I'll just go and check. You know, I've had this also sent to me by procurement, but for whatever reason, I put it in a Google Sheet. So I'm going to go and grab the currency information, and I can just log in using my Google login. It's pretty simple. And suppliers. Now let's have a look at that. Now, what I'm going to have to do here, actually, I've got to always forget to do this. Get the column names. Pretty common kind of thing you do in Excel. And again, I'm going to join up and grab a join tool and join my currency or my suppliers to my price list. And we can see we don't have a join here. Now I just need to run the workflow, and that's going to run the whole workflow from before as well. So we'll see the results from this upper tools set that I pulled down. And we can see it's written 11,000 records. We've got 10 stores. You can check the result here. Just go up on the left here and get the join. We can see here. So here's all the sales information. Got the store name. We can see there's only a store date, and you know we typically report on months. So I actually think I'm going to add in a month. I'm going to truncate the date and add in a month. I'm just going to call that sales month. So I'm going to down into the formula tool. I'm going to add a column, and I'm going to call it sales month. Oops, spelled it wrong there. Oops, really, sales month. It's catching up with me. I think it's a bit slow here. And we'll just select the formula. So we can go down here, get our date, and in Alteryx, it's called a date time trim. Going to get our date field. It's already highlighted it here. So we're just going to do it based on order date, and we're going to do it by month. And we're going to change this to a date. So this is all of our sales information. I'm also going to then drag a select tool in and just see if we need to remove anything. Everything kind of looks good. These are all set up as numbers. There's no duplicate columns. So we're not going to get any, you know, we're not going to push across any data we don't need, that we're not going to use. So that one's ready to go. And here we've now got this join is now hopefully reading in. Yeah, and we can see this here. So I'm just going to select current, what are we? We want the supplier name. And in here it's called supply, so we're only going to match. And we can add a browse on the join. And I think I'm also going to add a select tool. And I'm going to run that. Now, what this gives us is the local currency, but it doesn't tell us what the currency was or is when we're going to do our analysis. So let's just check the result. We've got AUD, got the discount rate that we get from that supplier, local currency, price at, but no actual exchange rate. So again, I go back to Google because someone's prepared this for me, the rates that we buy it at, and I've just, you know, we're just using Google Finance for this. Just drag this one down, and again, let's remember my connections from last time. Once I click on this, and select first row, we're just going to go monthly FX. And what we want to do is run that so we can read it in. And so the great thing is, you know, we can see all these different data sources in one place. We don't have to toggle between applications or sheets or whatever. It's all in one place, so we can see exactly what's going on. And if I have a look at this, I can go down and scan the results quickly up here in the output. And we can see that there's 2 rows for every currency, so that's less than ideal. But let's have a look what we can do about that. So we can see that these are just column headings. So let's just remove the column headings, shall we? So what we can do here is just grab a filter tool, and we're going to select, I think it was column Q1, does not equal date, and that will filter out every other row. And then we are going to run that. And what that will do is, let's have a look. Over here. Yep, we've got just currency rows, but we've got all these other columns. We only really want the currency at December 19 because it's the price that we gave us. So let's just compare with, you know, the stock we've got on hand. And so we'll go to the select tool, and we will select, or deselect, sorry, all these columns we don't need. Still isn't in a really usable format. So what I need to do here is go and transform this. And I'm going to use the transpose tool for that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use key current column of currency. I'll just widen this one a little bit. And what we want to do is deselect all, and we're just going to select that December 19 column. And let's run that again. And let's check our result. Oops, where are we? Let's just dragged it out of the old thing here. And we've got, so there we go. We've got a nice tidy table. Put in the New Zealand currency as well because we need that. And what's next? So what I can see though is this is probably going to be a text string. So we'll need to change that to a date so we can use that's usable. So let's just have a look at that. And what's that one called? That one's called, well, their own name. So we need to change name to, well, actually we need to convert it. So we're going to grab the date time tool, and we're going to convert the, I'm just going to move this up to here. It's better. I'm just going to do a custom date format. So we're just going to go month dash year, because that's what it was. And it was a name, and let's just call it date. So you can see we're quickly transforming the data, you know, really effortlessly. We can check what we're doing in every single step along the way. So we're not going to get anything buried in a, you know, cell D65 or X 2542. It's just everything is right there. You know, there's nothing that you can't see or solve on a single screen. You know, that's the beauty of it. So I've now converted this to a date. Let's just go and grab another prep tool. Sorry, another select tool. Drag this down. And let's rename. So we don't need name because we've got date. And we can change the value to rate. the more accurate name. And let's change it to a double. And now it's time to join our list of products and their costs to the currency, so we can convert this to a local currency. Now, so we're just going to grab another join tool, and again, super easy. Go up to the join tool and currency code. Done. Don't need to duplicate that, so let's just remove it. There we go. And we've got the right format for all this. Unit price, which needs to be in a double, so we'll change that in the in our select tool. And let's run that again. And there we go. Finished. And we can see all the things that go on in the workflow. We can ignore most of them. The only ones we really care about are the ones that are red. The rest are just warnings. Move our little picture here. And what we want to do is convert our product from the local currency to our currency. So I've already pre-prepared this one, so I'm just going to grab another formula tool, paste this one down here, just drag it in, and I'm just dividing the unit price in New Zealand dollar. Well, the unit price divided by the rate will give us a unit price in New Zealand dollars. And the one thing we didn't check was, do we have any duplicate products? That's the one thing we didn't do. So I was just moving the spaghetti here. I didn't check that further up, so I'm just going to check it here. And what I'm actually going to do is say, well, if there are duplicates, so we buy product from multiple suppliers. It's the same product code. I'm just going to take the cheapest one because logically that's what we'll do. If there's an issue with that, well, then we can revisit it. But for now, I'm just going to take the lowest cost. So what I want to do is sort our products. I'm just going to grab a sort tool, and I'm going to sort that by we're going to sort it by product ID and unit price in New Zealand dollars. And then there's this great tool here. It's called the unique tool, and what that does is it grabs the rows, uniques them by whatever value you want. So I'm just going to pick product ID because it's our grain, as it were, and rerun that. And so we saw there's 2,774 products, and what we should see. Sorry, I haven't set that up correctly. I'll just add a browse on the unique. Actually, no, add them on both so I can show you. Oh, no, anyway. Yep. So, okay, so let's go back to the unique, and we want to select. Well, let's select product ID. What did we miss? Let's rerun that. There we go. So we've got 2,000. So we've dropped, what's that, 240, 43 or something. And we can see the products that were duplicated are over here. We get them from, here we go, a few different places, office supplies, and we can see them there. So we've removed all of them, we're just taking the lowest cost one. And now what we can do is join our sales information with our cost information. So we're really quickly starting to be able to build up pricing and start to build a forecast and a budget and really start to understand where our business is tracking or how we want it to track for the next year. So again, we go back up to the join tools, grab a join, drag join the two sources of data. And again, we've got to pick our join. So it's going to be on product ID. Yep, there we go. And now we can start to, do some margin, analyze some margin or cost per by category or store or whatever you want. So I'm nearly done with the demo, but I'm just going to show you a couple more tools. So we're going to go and grab a summary tool, which is effectively a pivot tool. And it comes from the transform menu. What's going on here? And we are going to, what should we do? Let's say, why don't we see what categories are performing, how categories perform. So what we want to do is we want to group by product ID and category. And group by just like in a pivot. And we want to sum the quantity and the sales. So we can grab these two. And we also want to grab our unit price. So we want that in New Zealand dollars. We only need one value because we just need to pull the price through. We'll just add that as a first. And let's just rename these. You don't have to, you can keep the names that they default to, but I like to give them names that are far more relevant. And then what we're going to do here is I'm going to just grab another formula tool that I've already pre-prepared. Connect that to our summary tool. And you can see here it's brought up a parse error. So I kind of did this deliberately. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick look. I can see here we already dropped it down as a string. So let's convert that to just convert it to a double. And we can see here the purple means it's good and the black means it can't recognize it. So I believe it's called unit price. And we can see it here, it gets highlighted. So let's just select that one. Unit price. Oops. Okay. And if we click off, it should, yep. And again, let's do a browse. Let's run that. And now we can have a quick look at how our, what our margins are like by product. And here we go. So there we go. We've got average sale price. So we've got 2 units of that sold for the year. Average sale price $232. Average margin $96. And it's really easy to duplicate these. So I'm not going to keep doing this, and because the purpose was just to show you a few little tricks and some of the tools. These are all the basic tools that that make up most of your day from within the prep, the transform, and the parse. There's other tools. Once you get more into it and your use cases expand, then you'll start to use some of these other tools. But these are the key ones that really speed your day up. These are the ones that are most commonly used in Excel, but they don't have any of the limitations that Excel have. So you can see we've read in 10 files, we've joined 2 files, we've joined data from different sources. So we've joined from a CSV, a Google Sheet, and an Excel on a laptop. It could equally be a Windows server. We've filtered data out, but it's no longer included in the compute. We've transposed data. We've converted some dates. We've done some formulas, and we've found out some duplicates, unique that. So it's really powerful, really transformational just a absolute time saver. So if this is something you're interested in and you want to learn a little bit more, well, you can watch the video again, the webinar again, if it was a little bit too fast. Alternatively, you can contact us and we can happy to run you with a demo. Alteryx have got a really great trial program. So if you want to learn more, then please feel free to reach out to Blake or myself. And with that, I'm going to pass you back to Rahul and Blake. Thanks for turning up.
Hey, Scott, thank you so much for that demo. That was really helpful to see the ins and outs of Alteryx and how it's applied within a finance use case. But of course, there's thousands of different financial use cases you could apply this to, and the flexibility of the platform is such that it's easy for analysts to get started and get a really rapid head start. So, we want to leave all of the viewers with this. They can go right to the Alteryx website today. They can download the Alteryx trial. It's a 14-day trial, but I believe you can extend it so that it's almost a 4-week trial. So feel free to click and get started. There's also a host of great starter kits that are available on the site, and that can enable you to do everything from grab templates for data blending, templates for better visualization, whether it's Tableau or Power BI. There's templates for Office of Finance, predictive analytics. Just go explore it and see what you like. You can download any of those starter kits, and they come with sample data and some good examples for you to start with your processes in Alteryx. Of course, you can reach out to either one of us. Scott, what's the best way for customers and prospects interested in Alteryx to get a hold of you?
Well, they can ring, or if they want, they can book a meeting on the link there at a time that suits them. They give you like a 30-minute, however long it takes, and I can answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. Well, everybody on the line, thank you so much for hopping on. Once again, there's a questions box. So if you do have any Q&A or technical help needed, feel free to fill that out and reach out to us. But you can also locate us through our contact info here. Thanks again for hopping on, and have a swell day.
Thanks, Blake. We'll see you later.
Bye.